up a dive. Feel the vibe, get ready to ignite. Untold stories in the airways, flying through the night. Experience voices, tales so bold. Streaming live, the truth unfolds. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's so I remember right. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can't hide. Aliens in the attic, UFOs in the sky. Cryptids lurking, oh my, oh my. Ghosts in the hallway, whispering your name. The paranormal, the unexplained. Become a VIP, get the inside scoop. Unlock the mysteries, be part of the group. Live streaming stories, they're talking to you. Super chats buzzing, join the crew. Untold Radio Network, where secrets come alive. New episodes daily, the mysteries thrive. Great guests, super chat, it's a wild member ride. Share and subscribe, join the side where truth can hide. So if you've got the guts and you want to explore, tune into the untold, it's what you're looking for. From aliens to ghosts and all that's unseen. Untold Radio Network, where the world's mysteries convene.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Paranormal Spectrum. I'm your host, Barnaby Jones, and we are live today here on the Untold Radio Network. We are in studio, so if you have any questions or comments throughout the show, please get them in the comments section, and we'll get to them as soon as possible. All right, guys. If you are interested in Bigfoot in Wisconsin, check out the Wisconsin Caps Patreon page. Our whole first season of On the Trail of Undiscovered Beasts, season 1, is now streaming on our Patreon page. You can check it out there. It is formerly a Paraflix exclusive, and you can't see it anywhere else except for on Patreon or on Paraflix. So make sure you check that out. Season 2 will be coming eventually. If you guys want to see us in person, the Caps team is going to be at the Bell City Paracon in Summers, Wisconsin in November. 2 of our members are also going to be up at MI Paracon this, I think it's this coming weekend. And it'll be Stephanie and Ellie are going to be up there. So if you guys are around in Upper Michigan, go check that out. Otherwise, myself, I'll be at Bell City Paracon doing a presentation in November. We are also going to be down in Lexington, Kentucky at CryptidCon. And Fond du Lac, Wisconsin in November 30th for the Soul and Synergy Expo, as well as a lot of libraries throughout the state. You can come and find me there for all that and more. Head on over to wisconsincaps.com and click on the public events tab. If you want to show your support for all things here at the Untold Radio Network, here's how.
Hey, Untold Radio Network fans. Want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned, plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
All right, guys, we have quite an exciting show. If our pre-show conversation has been any indication, my guest is a barrel of fun. So we have a lot of stuff to get through here today. A very extensive resume. We would take the entire show if I read all of this. So to sum it up, she is the owner of Squatch GQ magazine. She is a contributing writer to the past to Supernatural magazine. She specializes in paranormal travel destinations and legend tripping investigations. She is also a cryptozoology researcher and has spent 25 years researching the paranormal and cryptozoology fields. Her fascination with lake monsters began at an early age, where she first learned about the Loch Ness Monster. And hearing the reports of lake monsters in her own state of Michigan, she has since grown into including Michigan's own Dogman, the Nain Rouge, Bigfoot, ghost hunting, and so much more. She is also currently the lead investigator for the Michigan chapter of the North American Dogman Project, which she talked about on a previous episode of Monsters on the Edge. Go check that out. And she's a paranormal investigator with the Michigan Center for Unexplained Events and Phenomenon. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Shetan Noir. Welcome to the
show. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's going to be a fun show, I think. David here in the comments section, as I showed you, has been waiting since
Hi, David.
8 with popcorn and beer. He is expecting a good time and a good show here.
Ooh.
we can't let David down. So.
Well, I hope we don't. I was going to tell you, my Paracon is actually next weekend. Yep. Starting on Thursday, going through Saturday night. Then we all pack up and come home on Sunday. So it's next weekend.
Awesome. And you will be there as well.
I know. I'm doing a presentation.
There you go. And it is, from what I hear, the last MI Paracon.
Sadly, yes. That is what they are promoting it as. Does not mean that somebody else might not start up an event in the years to come, but my Paracon, as we all know it and love it, is coming to an end this year. So it's sad, but I do understand the promoters, want to move on to other things. So as sad as it is, at least we get to go out with a bang.
Yeah, I think this is the 14th year, if I'm not mistaken.
15th year.
Wow. I remember the 13 they celebrated something, and I remember that one. So I was thinking that was last year, but I missed a whole year. I don't know what happened.
Oh.
Yes. But as I said, our team, Stephanie Lynn and Ellie Weisencell are going to be at a booth up there. You can go meet them as well. And then you're going to be there as well. You're doing a presentation though. What are you talking about?
So my presentation is, I wanted to go out with a big one. So when they asked me, I said, well, I know we're talking about doing flying cryptids, but I kind of been holding this one presentation back. I was looking for a big event to do it at. And they're like, what is it? I said, well, it involves legends and folklore. And they're like, okay. I said, and it involves human history. And they're like, okay. I said, and it involves cannibals. And they're like, hell yeah. So it is the legends and folklore of cannibals in human history, with a focus on Native American legends of creatures like the Wendigo, Pukwudgies, because there are species of Pukwudgies that are cannibalistic. stone giants, ice giants, European legends of Krampus, because there are certain traditions that talk about he doesn't just beat the kids with birch rods, he actually takes them and eats them. Grayla and the Yule Cat. So it covers a wide diversity of European, just European, like the Germanic and Alpine regions, their stories that relate to a cannibalistic creature. And then we have the Canadian legends, which are mostly Native American, and the United States, where it mostly focuses on the Native American legends. It's only an hour-long presentation. I could probably do 3 hours with the additional materials that I have found, but 60 minutes goes by fast when you're on a huge stage, and you have to leave 10 minutes at the end. So your presentation is actually 40 minutes because you have to leave 10 minutes at the end for questions.
Ugh.
So that's what I'm presenting about this year.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on this 45-minute thing now. Like, who the heck? I cannot stand places that book you for 45 minutes for a presentation. Like, when all of my presentations are like timed to go for an hour, and then luckily my next presentation had like a time, like a downtime in between it that I just kept going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish this when the next presenter walks through that door. I'll end. That's what we're gonna do, and I did.
Yeah, so. I've been doing presentations for probably 15 years now. Whether it's cryptozoology and the paranormal, or pagan subjects, or dance etiquette. I've been doing it for 15 years. So I've learned how many presentation slides equals about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And then I've become so accustomed to, you have to have that 10-minute gap at the end for questions. So it's just kind of built in now that's how I do it, and it seems to work out fine. But I do know that the more I do a presentation, the faster I get with it, or the more I want to add into it as I'm talking. So it can vary. Like, I did Lake Monsters last night, and the people, like, they're kicking us out at like 7:30, and people were like, I have one more question. She's like, we're done asking questions. And I was like, good, because I can't talk anymore.
I was gonna say, unless you're our good friend Chad Lewis, who has like one slide for every 30 seconds of him talking, and he just clicks through them, and I'm like, how do you even know what slide you're on, man? When I click my next slide, I gotta look at what I'm supposed to be talking about before I move on. Yes. All right. Well, we are supposed to be talking about paranormal.
I know. We get sidetracked. We get, we segue.
I don't think I've had anybody on talking about cannibals though, so we'll have to circle back to that, because that's interesting.
We're not talking like Jeffrey Dahmer type cases. We're talking
right.
legends,
yep,
and folklore. So the creatures that lurk in those shadows, Wendigo, primary example. So things of that nature.
Interesting.
So we can circle back around to that one at another date.
Come back to that one later. Yeah. Put in the show notes over there, or put it in the comments section if you want to talk about cannibals at a later date. We'll have Shetan back for a whole cannibalistic show, and it'll be a delicious good time. All right. So paranormal. I'm literally excited for this because, like I said, when I had you on a couple weeks ago on the Dogman episode, I've never heard you talk about. I know you do a lot of paranormal stuff. I know you do all this stuff and all that with the paranormal, but I've never even spoken one word to you about paranormal in my memory.
I know. And I have so many different stories about just paranormal experiences that I've had, and investigations I've done, and stuff that I've researched. So let's get to it.
All right. Well, David is waiting with his popcorn and beer here for an amazing story. So
okay,
let's start off with with tell us one of your most WTF paranormal experiences, as the title says.
There's a couple of them. So one of the ones that I talk about frequently when I'm discussing my paranormal experiences actually involves Mackinac City. So there's Mackinac Island, but there's also Mackinac City, which is the gateway to the islands. That's where you can take a ferry from either Mackinac City or St. Ignace.
Michigan,
So,
for people that don't. Yeah.
Yes, it's right there next to the bridge. And there's one main strip, and that's where all of your tourist traps are, all of your restaurants. So this was probably about 10 years ago. It was, that year was my mom's golden anniversary for her high school reunion. So she had come home in June, went to her reunion. She flew down, and then I was driving her and her German Shepherd back up. And I also had my little miniature pinscher, Teagun. Everybody knows Teagun, or at least should know Teagun. She's the little Harlequin miniature pinscher. So we stop in Mackinac City because she wants to buy fudge and saltwater taffy and stuff like that for her friends up in Ely, Minnesota. So the German Shepherd was in the car because she's not the most social dog. And I was walking my miniature pinscher around. And at one point, I go into the public bathroom that's at the very end of the strip that's right across the road from Shipler's ferry. So go in, use the restroom. I have my little dog with me. She sits on my lap while I'm in the bathroom. And then we get back on the road and we leave. So fast forward a couple of months, and it's the weekend of my Paracon. And I'm headed home Saturday evening after the whole event. And I stop in Mackinac City once again because I have like a inventory of requests to fill from people for like pasties and fudge and saltwater taffy. So I'm like, before I do anything, I need to go pee. So I go into the exact same public restroom, into the exact same stall that I was in a couple of months prior. And as I am about to leave the stall, my hand's on the latch for the door. I'm just about to open the door, and a voice, clear as day and quite loudly, says, "What? No puppy this time?" Because I didn't have my miniature pinscher with me that time. And I start to answer, "No, she's at," and then I pause. I'm like, I'm looking for security cameras. I'm looking for speakers. There's nothing in that bathroom. There's nobody else in the bathroom. All of the stalls are empty. I quickly walk outside. There's nobody even within 15 feet of the public bathroom. So something is an intelligent haunt there and keeps track of people. It can identify people. And I'm like, okay, you have to realize Mackinac City sees thousands of visitors a day from the time that the ferries start running in the spring till fall. Thousands of people per day. And yet this spirit recognized me and realized I didn't have my little dog with me.
Well, to be fair, you're very recognizable.
I am, but I'm like,
out of 1,000 people there, I'd remember you.
Yeah. So that one was one where I was like, did something just talk to me? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that was one that was really where I started noticing disembodied voices. Because sometimes they just like to talk to you and you're like, I wasn't expecting anything. I had my list of things to do, and a paranormal experience was not it at that moment. So that one was one that I rank up there. Another one is I was staying at my friend TJ Owens' cabin down in West Virginia, and I didn't know that the cabin was haunted. I did know he had Bigfoot activity around it. So I was staying in the upstairs of the cabin. Again, I have my little miniature pincher with me. And the way the upstairs is set up is you have the stairs come up, and then there's it's an open floor plan, but there's different like rooms that break off from it. So there's myself and another author in one in the first room. That's all open. There's no doors. Then the second area was a mother and daughter. And then the third area was a gentleman who was the farthest away from us. So the first night, nothing happens. And I'm down there just so I can go to Mothman. So we do Mothman. Next day, get up to do more Mothman. So Saturday night comes, and the other author had gone home. So it was just me and my little miniature pincher in that one area. And I had my tote bag sitting on the rocking chair in the middle of the room. And on the top of the tote bag was a bottle of ibuprofen. So about 3 a.m. in the morning, I have my back. I'm laying on my side with my back to the rocking chair, and my miniature pincher is in between me and the wall, which isn't a huge amount of space. We're talking like a twin size, not even a twin size bed, like a smaller than that, like a single size bed. And I feel this really icy, like sensation just wash through me. That sensation you get as you just missed an accident. And I'm like, and this wakes me up out of sleep, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? Well, almost instantly I hear the bottle of ibuprofen rattling back and forth. Something's shaking it. And I'd like to say I flipped over and was like, ha, I got you. But I could not move. I was frozen. And about this time, my little miniature pincher starts to do her low warning growl. And I'm like, okay, I'm not imagining this because she hears it. Mm-hmm. So it was about 5 minutes before I rolled over and there was nothing there. And I'm like, but I heard it. So the next morning we get up and I'm trying to play it off. I'm like, maybe it was somebody else. Maybe sound just travels really well in this, this open area. So the mother and daughter are up, and I said, oh, were you guys okay last night? I thought I heard you getting up and getting medication. They said, well, we didn't get up and get any medication, but we heard something rattling over in your area. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the bottle of ibuprofen in the top of my tote bag, and something was messing with it. And they said, oh, well, this cabin's haunted by a little boy, right? I said, no, I didn't know that. No, that's like need to know information, to overnight guests. But yeah, so very interesting experience there. And one that, I know the little boy had to have been standing right behind me and just playing with the bottle of ibuprofen. And it was just like, just that feeling that goes through you like that, feeling. And it woke me up out of a sleep. And not only did I feel a sensation, but I heard the bottle rattling, and the miniature pincher heard it, and the people in the alcove next to me heard it also. So that was a pretty interesting experience. I had an experience when it was actually me, my aunt, and my cousin. We were down at the Monroe County Historical Museum, which is sitting on General Custer's former home. So it is rumored that Mrs. Custard dwells there. And I believe this because we were walking around and my cousin is like, she could tell you who like who the TV stars on of, like TLC or stuff like that. But like school and history were never really a big thing for her. So as we're walking around looking at different displays, we come across this paper mache bust of Abraham Lincoln. And my aunt asked my cousin, do you know who that is? And, we wait for maybe 15 seconds. And just as I'm about to say that's President Abraham Lincoln, a very like uppity, very like poignant female voice says, that is Mr. Abraham Lincoln. And the three of us all look at each other and I'm like, yep, we heard that. We went right up to the front counter. I said, is this place haunted? And they're like, well, Mrs. Custard's here. I'm like, bingo. We just had an experience with her. So that one was pretty interesting. And then one of the ones that kind of like, it wasn't a disembodied voice, but it was an interesting situation because the spirit actually manipulated my phone. So I was investigating with another group down at Randolph County Asylum. And usually if I'm investigating with a group of people, I break off and try to get away from everybody so that I can have my own investigations without people. So how are you doing? What's going on this weekend? Blah, blah, blah. I'm there to investigate, not socialize. That's what we did at dinner beforehand. So I'm in the very basement. And as I walk in there, I'm the only one down there. So I'm in the kitchen area. Now, they have a large walk-in freezer. And I can clearly hear something manipulating the door handle. Click, 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 click. Okay, this refrigerator is no longer in use. But something's trying to open the door. So in the kitchen, this is where there was a young woman who had mental illnesses and disabilities, and she was, for better terms, we're going to call her the cook or a cooking assistant. And she spent most of her time in there. So there's a lot of hymnals sitting out. And there's money like sitting out. Don't ask me why. The hymnals I understood because she was very religious and she liked to read the hymnals, sing to herself. So at that moment, a song that I used to sing when I went to a certain church popped into my head. And I was like, how did that song go? So I was humming it and trying to think of the words and kind of had it right. And I was like, still not right. So at the time I had my phone set up that if I said, hey, Google, it would respond with, what do you want to know? And so I asked it, I said, what is the name of this song with, or this hymnal with these lyrics? And I was very clear in my request. I was asking for the title of a hymnal with these certain lyrics. And the response that I got back was, you cook pork at 400 degrees for 45 minutes. And I'm like, and of course, my phone's what I use to record with. So I'm like, damn it. Once again, the spirits have cheated me out of evidence. And then I'm like, but really, she manipulated my phone. She wanted to know how to cook pork and somehow got her answer in. So I do believe that in today's day and age, because paranormal investigators use their phones and all this different technology, I do believe that the spirits have taken notice of this and are now using the technology because we asked them to. Hey, if you're here, come touch this REM pod. Come talk to us. Come. And then we were like, why is my phone acting up? Why is my device acting up? Because you asked the spirit to interact with it. So those are some of my most unique experiences with the paranormal, where I'm like, I really hate it when they cheat me out of evidence. And it's like, they always do it when I'm not recording. It's like, really? Come on. When your guard's down, come on.
Interesting.
When I'm not even investigating, come on,
Well, we have a lot to cover here. We have I have questions now, but
Okay.
we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back right after this. We are live on the Untold Radio Network talking with Shetan Noir about interesting paranormal stories and the paranormal. And we'll be right back. If you have any questions or comments, get them in the comments section. We'll get to them as soon as we can.
Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our show's knowledgeable hosts and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, spirits, and the metaphysical? How about Mothman, Bigfoot, and other cryptids? What about UFOs, UAPs, and other anomalous phenomenon? Then you need to check out Cryptids, Anomalies, and the Paranormal Society. We have all that and more. Watch our series, Caps Road Trip, where we travel across the U.S. in search of these phenomena and bring you not only the history of these locations, events, and encounters, but evidence that we capture along the way. Alongside our team of researchers and investigators, you never know who will be joining in on the investigations. Are you interested in Bigfoot in Upper Michigan? Check out Finding Heighton, a series documenting the Sasquatch activity on a very special 80-acre property just outside of Menominee that has been a hotspot since 2012. Are you looking for something to listen to on your morning commute, road trip, or just hanging out? Head on over to our YouTube and check out one of our several podcasts hosted by members of the CAPS team. Topics and shows spanning everything from paranormal, UFOs, metaphysical, cryptids, and more. And if you're into spooky, check out our mini-series, Spirits of Menominee, which documents the paranormal activity of downtown Menominee, Michigan, or Spirits of Macville, where we investigate one very active location. Head on over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button, and you won't miss a minute. All right, guys, we are back here with Shetan. Hopefully we are blowing David's mind today with his popcorn and beer here. I just love that. All right. All right. So first of all, my first question to you is the voice in the bathroom, was it male or female?
It was, I couldn't distinguish whether it was male or female. Now, I did talk to Todd Clemmings, who runs the paranormal ghost tours on Mackinac Island, and he has written 2 books on Mackinac City and the fort and the island. There is a fort in Mackinac City, and there's a fort on the island, just so that people are clear. So he's written a book, and he does a ghost tour on Mackinac Island. So I Todd's a friend of mine. And I said, Todd, and I told him the story. And he's like, well, it could be the ghost from here or the soldier from there. And I said, Todd, that's not the point. The point is they remembered me and remembered the dog. And he said, well, she is a really cool little dog. And I'm like, that's not the point. The point is, bathroom etiquette, don't be, at least I was done using the restroom when they scared me, but it was more like they were accosting me, like, hey, where's the dog at? We wanted to see the dog. And it was like, wait, what? Who's asking me this? Like I said, I looked to see if there was any video cameras in the bathroom, if there was any speakers in the bathroom. There were none. And it's just a regular public bathroom. It's nothing fancy, just 4 stalls and, your toilet and your sinks. Nothing fancy. So it just really threw me that something was paying attention and either recognized me or my energy and was like, where's the little dog at? Now, granted, my little dog would probably bite the ghost, but it's like, you don't want to mess with that little dog. She's she's the one who will battle the dog man for me. Mm-hmm. She's also the one who found the dog man track when we were walking on the beach. So.
All right. So that's interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. Yes. Yeah.
I've been there.
Have you done any work with the haunted women's bathroom in the cat house?
No. We were, we went there. It was me, my aunt, my cousin again, and we just went for the zoo experience, to go to the zoo. And I was not aware that there was any haunted activity there.
Yeah, it's obviously part of Lincoln Park, and Lincoln Park has a very haunted history, being a former cemetery. Oh, you didn't know this? Oh, interesting.
No, I didn't, because I've only ever looked at it as a zoo. I haven't researched underneath of it. Ooh.
Yeah, so brief history on that for your sake and anybody listening. I actually spoke with Jack Chavez on a previous event that he goes into a lot more detail for anybody that wants to check it out. But basically, way back in the day, it used to be a cemetery. And on the edge of the water there, it started eroding, and the cemetery was, what was the big pandemic? Not cholera? Not cholera.
Well, I know that they had the huge fire there in Chicago.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Yeah.
They had the fire, and then they had the tragedy of the Eastland right there.
Yep. I don't know, there's dead bodies, diseased. They were all buried there, and it was getting into the water supply, so it was getting people sick. So what they did was they hired these guys to dig up all the bodies and move them inshore. And the Great Chicago Fire came, and back in the day, all the headstones were wooden markers, so they burned off.
Okay.
And they did not get all the bodies out. So then they just built the Field Museum, Sheds Aquarium, Lincoln Park Zoo, all that stuff, the parking ramps, all over the top of this.
Ooh.
They actually were building the barnyard for the Lincoln Park Zoo. They actually excavated a bunch of bodies, and the city's they contacted the city and said, what do you want to do with them? And they got back to them, so they just put them back and put the zoo over the top of it. And one of the things is that the cat house there, the women's bathroom, is supposed to be haunted, and obviously I have not gotten the chance to go down there, but they used to do paranormal tours of the Lincoln Park Zoo, but they have not since COVID. But
oh, that's very interesting. I never knew that. Wow. We might have to take for those of us, or for those who don't know, Barnaby and I do this thing where whenever one of us goes to a zoo or something like that, and we post pictures, we comment, "Ma, Barnaby went to the zoo without me," or "Ma, Shetan went to the zoo without me." It's like a running joke between us. And so, but we've never gone to the zoo together. And we have to like fix that. I mean, like, show me where the cool spots are, where the paranormal spots are, at your zoos,
Absolutely. Yeah, that one, the Philadelphia Zoo is the oldest zoo in the country.
Yep.
And that one, Ghost Hunters, Taps actually went and did an investigation of that zoo.
Okay.
That was one of their episodes. So that place is haunted.
Now, one place that I've been to that I do believe is haunted, Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So Circus World there, there's been stories told that you can sometimes see the elephants, like the ghost elephants that walked around town, and you can hear them. There's been apparitions of giant wolves running across the stream there. So Baraboo I've been to quite a few times, and I love Baraboo. I think I love Wisconsin. I just wish you didn't have to drive through Chicago to get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if Wisconsin was next door to me like Ohio, I'd be there every weekend just, exploring.
Yeah, you just gotta take a boat.
No, then I'd have to go across Lake Michigan, and that's almost as bad as Chicago driving. So I'll take an hour of Chicago driving over 4 hours of are we gonna get across the lake or not? Is it gonna get us?
That's how my mom goes through Chicago when I drive. Yeah, we got to investigate. We did the Circus World Museum as part of the episode,
Yes.
but they did not get back to me on being able to investigate and do a paranormal investigation there. But we actually investigated the Al Ringling Mansion, and that episode
Yes.
came out earlier this year, and that was a really good investigation. We believe we actually got to talk to Al Ringling, and
Now I was there. I've been there many times, but I was doing an 18-day when I was doing travel writing. I was doing an 18-day tour from Michigan through Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, the UP, and then back home. And I had a whole day that was set aside for the Wisconsin Dells and Baraboo. And I met up with a woman who was doing ghost tours there in Baraboo. And she was an elementary school teacher, and I cannot remember her name. It's on one of my episodes that I did for my travel YouTube series. And she was telling me, like, we started out at the Ringling Mansion, and then she took me around town. But when we got to Circus World, one of the things that she told me that stuck with me all these years was in the elephant house, on the upper tiers of the roof, like the support beams, the African elephants used to try to pull down the roof of the building. So what they did was they used tar paper with screws and nails, and they put those up there so that when the elephants slap their trunks up there, they hit the nails. So there are still it's theorized that there's still nails up there with elephant blood on them. And so, and these buildings are still there.
Mhm.
So, and she's telling me about how they used to use the elephants in town to like move things, and were like, they used the elephants to put the stone or the marble columns up on the church because the cranes couldn't do it, but the elephants could. So it was, Baraboo has a lot of really cool history with not only the circuses, but Baraboo also had a serial killer at the time.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't get too much into the serial killers and stuff. I didn't know that.
It was part of the history, because she did it was a walking tour that was the paranormal history, but also the like unique history of the town. So yeah, there was a serial killer in Baraboo, Wisconsin for a while, and I believe he was finally caught.
Interesting. I love Baraboo. I love that whole area and the Dells and stuff. And
It's a fun area.
yeah, I know that Dells has a lot of haunted stuff too, and they do the ghost tours and stuff there. But yeah, that's awesome. So let us circle back to yeah. just switch gears here. We're gonna go back to this because we got coming up towards the end of the show. Not the end there yet, but if you have any questions or comments, get them in. But I wanna come back to your other story here about the manipulating technology, and I want to talk more about that because you brought up a very interesting point. There is, like you said, we ask these spirits and entities and whatever it is that we're communicating with in whatever case to interact with these different devices, and we're basically training them into how to use this stuff. And like we always blame whatever, oh, my phone's malfunctioning or something or doing something. Well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's like you said, maybe something is actually trying to use it or do something with it. Have you had any other experiences like that, or what are your thoughts on that?
That was the first time that they manipulated my phone. Now, also at that facility, I had set up my fully charged GoPro on a tripod, and I had like a glow stick on the back of the tripod. So anybody walking down the long hallway would see, oh, there's something glowing right there. There's something there. Don't bump into it. Yeah. And I went back an hour later to check my GoPro, and it was completely dead. Now, it had been charging and was charged when I set it up. It had a full battery, and now it's dead. So I do believe that not only do they use the battery power from our devices, but because like Randolph County Asylum, there's a paranormal investigation team in there. There's like they do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't think they do Sundays. So 3 nights out of the week, you have 3 different paranormal teams there with all different people, but with the same devices and probably asking all the same questions. Mm-hmm. Is anybody here? Can you talk to us? How did you die? And asking the same questions over and over again. But there's, we all use the same equipment. We all use REM pods. We all use our digital recorders. We use our phones. We use our flashlights. We use GoPros. We use the spirit boxes, our P detectors. We all use the same equipment. So I believe that the paranormal world of the spirits, the entities, and anything else that's lurking in the unknown has taken a notice of what we as humans communicate with. And that's how they're choosing to communicate with us, is by doing it through our devices, because that's what we ask them to do. Can you come forward and talk to us? Can you touch that REM pod right there and make it light up? Can you, manipulate this toy and make it, play music? Can you talk to us? And I have to think what's frustrating for the ghosts, the entities, is when they are communicating with us and we're not either hearing it or noticing it, and that's when they start, doing more elaborate things, maybe more what we consider sinister. But really, if you ask somebody 5 times for information and then you ignore them every single time, how irritated is that person going to get when they're trying to respond to you and you're just like blah 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 blah. So yeah, I do believe that they have learned how to not only recognize our devices, but to use our devices.
It's interesting that you say that as well, because we've gone to places, we'll just say like, established paranormal hotspots, like you said,
Right.
and we'll bring the same equipment, the ghost balls, the REM pod, the EMF meters. And then we'll be like, oh, we got this new piece of equipment. We just got it. It's brand new. It's new technology, and it does nothing.
Right.
But all the other stuff will work, and you can get answers. And that lends credence to the fact that they don't know how to use that new piece of equipment.
Right. They have to like experience it a couple of times and see like how you manipulate it and how you get it to work.
Interesting. I'm sure you watch Skinwalker Ranch, right?
Yeah, well, I try to catch it with my like I do library presentations mostly on Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. So I try to be home to watch. But sometimes I'm like, I gotta run the dogs out, or I gotta, take care of this or answer email. So I try to stay up to date with it.
Well, we're going to talk about something back in like season 1 or 2, I believe.
Okay.
But you know how they're on the ranch and they showed the phone going all weird, where it was opening apps and making phone calls and doing all that stuff. Okay. So I was at a location and I was leaning against the counter, and there's one of those plasma balls, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden my phone starts doing exactly like what they're talking about and showing on the thing. It's opening apps, it's closing things, it's dialing phone numbers. And I realized that it's because I got it too close to the plasma ball.
Right.
And I mean, I give it like probably about 1.5 feet away from it. It was manipulating this, which is really fascinating, because now I don't think that what they're doing on the show was faked, but I'm thinking that you have this plasma ball that is putting out, it's basically a little Tesla coil. It's putting out electricity, it's putting out energy, and this is doing the same thing. So what on the ranch is causing that? And at the same time, we're talking about using energy and stuff to manipulate it. We constantly think that, touching the phone is what's causing that, but energy itself can touch and manipulate it.
And I will say, when I was in Randolph County, when I was down in the basement, I had my phone and I had my EMF meter, and I had the EMF meter on the counter. So my phone was not near it, but that wouldn't have it giving an answer to a question that I didn't ask. And it was like, and then I was like, okay, let's see if this happens again. So I asked the same exact question again, and this time I got the answer that I wanted. I got not only the title of the song, but I got all the song lyrics to it too. And I was like, okay. So it was, a experience where I do believe that the spirits there had learned how to manipulate technology.
I know a lot of stories you hear and see them online, and I can't vouch for the reality of them, but in my experience, I have a smart home, and I have a device that talks to you when you say her name.
Yes.
For those of the people out there listening, we won't be that mean, but I think you all know where we're going with this. And she answers questions that no one in the house asks. And she also responds to questions that we did not ask as well. And
Interesting.
This is you see a lot of these things. There's a pretty popular video out a while ago where this guy has the same device. She answers to her name, and you know where I'm going. And it will, what did it do? It talked to him and did stuff through it like it was having a conversation with somebody in the house at the time, and it was doing all this stuff. And granted, I mean, technology can be whack. I mean, we all know that our phones listen to us anyway, but you know, it's interesting that, you know, what is this thing picking up on? You know, we talk about EVPs. Anybody that's done paranormal has gone on an investigation. You get out your phone, your audio recorder or something, you ask your question and a voice comes back. Well, is it possible, as you were saying, that if they learn how to interact with technology and interact with this stuff, and you're constantly going, hey, Miss Device, and you ask a question, and all of a sudden this thing's going, I want to try that. And
you know, and that, you know, and I'm surprised I have not seen other teams employing this or the celebrities on TV doing it, but I do think that is a good experiment to try, is buying, like, I think they had like the kids Alexa.
You said it.
Oh,
now everyone's device is going nuts. Go ahead.
But I wonder if we started taking those on investigations with us, plugging them in, setting them up, and then being like, okay, if you want to talk to us, talk through this.
She does need Wi-Fi and has to be hooked up, otherwise she doesn't
Okay.
work. So that is one downside to trying that. But
most phones can produce a hotspot. So
you can also get her on your phone if you download the app. So if I open the app, I can talk to it just like that and control my whole house through my phone.
Right. So I'm wondering if we start doing experiments with that, how long it would take the spirits to realize that they can communicate with us through that. And boy, wouldn't that be interesting? Get out of my house. No, it's my house, you know.
I've had some interesting things. I don't believe my house is haunted. I don't believe there's anything really here, but I have had some recent experiences, specifically where I am right now. My light in this office here, there's 2 lights in the ceiling and one of them will not work. And then my hallway light that is right out here will turn on and off during shows that I'm recording sometimes.
Ooh.
And I'm like, interesting. We were actually talking about the Shadow Man on that episode, and my hallway turned on and off for no reason. And it's like I said, it's all controlled with that device. And even last night, I asked it to do something, and it literally turned on every light in my house.
Okay.
Every single light in my house came on last night, and I'm like, what did I say? And I asked her, like, turn on the whole house, and she's like, I don't know that. And I'm like, why did you do it? So that was weird, but I do think that's an interesting thing if you could teach it to do that. But then, I mean, you're opening up a whole can of worms, you know, like if someone follows you home and you know, these people that go into these locations and have no concern over protection or safety or anything, and you bring that thing home, all your security lights, you know, all your security cameras, your locks on your house, your lights, all are at the mercy of whatever the heck you just brought into your house. So something to be a little leery about as well.
Yeah. But, you know, if they attach to, you know, that device, they can attach to any device. They can attach to your phone. They can attach to your spirit Boo Bear, to your voice, you know, spirit box, your REM pods. They can attach to anything that you're using. So, like you said, you need to have a priority and a protocol in place where you do a cleansing after your investigations where nothing can attach to you.
Mm-hmm.
either do smudging or salt water or something so that the spirits cannot follow you home. They cannot attach to you, your person, your devices, or anything and follow you home.
That's interesting too. I mean, I think there's I'm reminded of like the Ghost in the Machine kind of thing, or if you've
Yeah.
seen the latest Ghostbusters movie I think people have mostly seen it now, but there's an entity in there that basically jumps from device to device or inanimate object to inanimate object. And I'm just kind of thinking about that, and that brings up a whole thing of, well, if we're talking about manipulating electronics and stuff, are we talking about AI or spirits? And then what's the difference? Because
Yes.
if this is an artificial intelligence or an actual intelligence, the computer learns, the spirit learns. Where are you drawing the line between artificial intelligence being an actual entity or I don't know.
Yeah, it's it's going to be interesting as things move forward with AI and to see how the paranormal community is going to use that. But it will also be interesting to see how the spirits use it and become either accepting of it or agitated by it. And, when we think of spirits, essentially they're energy. And our devices work off of energy. Everything has an energy signal. So these are things that, we don't quite grasp. How does something pick up on your energy? Or like hones in on your energy? Is it just like honing in on somebody's voice or their smell or their appearance? So if the spirits or any type of paranormal entity, whether it's human or non-human, can pick up on energy signals and attach to those, then, whole networks could become haunted. Like,
Even a ransom from a ghost.
Like Microsoft's gonna be like, it's not us, there's ghosts in the, so it's gonna be very interesting to see with all the new technology that is being produced. I can definitely see where a lot of paranormal investigators are like, keep it basic.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with these devices. You're fine. You're going to get evidence. But the more elaborate these devices become, and the more that they tie in with AI or with technology or the internet, it's going to be really interesting to see how things change in the paranormal investigating, because you're opening up a whole new world to the paranormal spirits.
I think, for anybody paying attention, we've been doing this for quite a while now. I mean, you look at the spirit boxes. What is that? We're literally trying to get a entity to communicate through a piece of technology, like actually communicate, not touch it, not manipulate energy, but literally use that technology to communicate. That's the exact same thing that we're talking about with all this stuff. And we've been doing it for so long. And I've now seen as well, like, there's people that are taking the old, the non-digital, what are the analog televisions, and are making those into basically a TV spirit box where they can manipulate the picture on there as well as the audio and the sound. And these are really neat. I would love to get my hands on one of them and try it, because not only now do you have the ability to hear and stuff, but they can put a picture on the screen.
Oh, yeah. And immediately I'm thinking of the Poltergeist, where the little girl is like,
Just pops right out. Just pops right out. Yeah. So do you think that this is I mean, you talk about being basic with all the technology and people going out and just using like divining rods, maybe EMF meters and audio recorders. And that's how I see a lot of people do paranormal.
Yeah.
But think about this. We've been doing that since, the golden age of paranormal, when we were doing seances and Ouija boards and way back then, and this is all we've gotten. Do you think that we need to stay with that? Or, does technology need to advance? And do we need to go into that AI world and that more technology to try and get to the bottom of all this stuff?
That's a very good question. And I think it depends on the individual researcher. Because for me, okay, I'll have a REM pod, I'll have my EMF meter, but then I have my phone to record, and usually I have a digital voice recorder on me that runs, because I've learned now, when you get out of the car, turn on the digital voice recorder and, hook it onto you and just go. Because stuff happens. I think it depends on the person, because I've seen these paranormal teams who show up and have like storage tote after storage tote after storage tote of equipment, and they set it up all over the house.
Yeah.
And then, they're sitting there either talking to one another or socializing, and it's like, okay, you're here to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the spirit actually wants to hear your conversation about you two gossiping about this one person? Maybe if the spirit was a busybody in life, but no, they're going to be like, weren't you here to talk to me? So I can see where some people might want the more elaborate stuff, because they think, oh, if the ghost blinks, I'm going to pick it up. But then there's other people who are like, no, that's just too much. That's just too much. Especially if you're somebody who has psychic abilities, or you're a medium, that's too much. Most mediums I know just want to go in with maybe a recording device and their own natural abilities and see what, they pick up on, and, what manifests and communicates with them. Other people want all the bells and whistles, and they want, when you're at the video arcade and you win the game and all the bells and whistles go off. That's what they want to happen with the paranormal, is when the spirit chooses to communicate with you or connect with you, they want that, huge firework response of, yes, I got it. Here's the proof, of this device lighting up or talking to me, or, this or that. And so it really ranges with, the gambit of all the different devices, all the different methods, whether you're going in as a medium, or you're using the equipment, or you're doing the Estes method. It really depends on the individual investigator and what they want to lug around with them to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am very fully guilty of dragging in entire totes of equipment.
You're also filming, and you're creating a docu-series with it. So
yeah, but it's also like I've seen people set up all that stuff like you talk about, and then they're over here watching this, and their stuff is going off over there.
Yes,
and they're not even paying attention. Well, I'm going to set this up around the room and see what happens, and then stuff happens, and they're not paying attention.
Right,
and that's. I mean, for the most part, I think at least 95% of this is human spirits that are in locations.
Right.
And I absolutely, I say this all the time. I hate paranormal tourism, because these are all people that once lived, and you're going into their houses, you're going into the places they lived, died, had traumatic events. Can you make a light up? Can you do this? Can you do a trick for me? It's ridiculous.
They're think of it as, okay, these deceased, would you do that to your grandmother? Would you do that to your 5-year-old, nephew who died unexpectedly?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we asking them to be like circus acts?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's one thing to carry on a conversation with them, but to repeatedly ask them, well, turn on this light, manipulate this thing, give us a sign that you're here. Well, why can't you just sit and talk to them?
Mm-hmm.
Address them as a former human being. Hi, I don't know who you are, but I'm assuming you're here. Is there anything you want to tell me? Is there, what would you like me to know?
How can I help you?
Right. Tell me about what happened so that I can understand and see what I can do to help the situation.
Now, I will state for the record here, because for those that are familiar with CAPS, we do run a paranormal investigation location that you can come out and investigate with us in that. And we have brought in our mediums out, all of our equipment and everything, and we have spoken to the spirits that are at that location and asked them specifically if they're okay with doing the tours and if they want to communicate with people. And there are 4 spirits there that are there all the time. And 3 of the 4 all said yes. And the 4th one said, I'm not going to interact with you. I'm going to go up in that room and where you don't go, and I'm not going to participate. And the other one said, yes, we want to share. We enjoy it. We like being talked to. So before anyone jumps on me for doing that, we did take the time and communicate with the spirits in our building to make sure this is something they are comfortable with and they like being talked to and stuff. And they absolutely love it. We have never done an investigation where we have not had activity. And it is just flabbergasting to watch people come in and go, oh, well, we're going to investigate, and holy crap, it's a fun time, and the spirits seem to really enjoy it. They always interact, in the same areas and the same stuff. And it's a good time. So,
and people have to realize whoever the spirit was in life is how they are in the afterlife. So if you are addressing, the spirits of grandma, grandpa, and they loved having company over, loved talking and everything, they're going to enjoy that. But if you're interacting with somebody who was a very negative, dark, grumpy person and hated people, guess what? That's probably not the person to try to have a conversation with. They're probably going to be the ones who are knocking crap over and being like, get out now.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Or trying to get your attention. And that's something I talk about too all the time. Like your grandma's picture flies off the wall and everyone says it's a demon. Well, maybe you're just going through something in your life that your grandma's there going, hey, I'm here, you're going to get through this and stuff. And people just jump to that, oh my gosh, I don't know what this is. And it's that that the non-comprehension, the non-understanding of the world that me and you walk in and deal with, on a daily, weekly basis. And these people just they've never done anything with that. So they don't understand.
Yep.
Oh, it's always a fun time talking to you. I love it.
I know. I love our conversations.
So many interesting things, and we never stay on topic. I mean, the first time we came on, we started talking about lake monsters, and it led to this whole thing on asexual reproduction. We forgot about the lake monsters, and it was a good show. And now this time we go into all this stuff. We're going to talk about paranormal experiences, and we just go into all technology and AI, and that's awesome. That's a good show. We are coming up on the end of this. I don't want to take your entire day here, Shetan. We are past our time, but if anybody has any questions for Shetan in the comments section, get them in here as we wrap things up. Shetan, tell us, what do you got coming up? You're going to be at MI Paracon.
Yep, I'll be at My Paracon, which is next weekend in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. It is the last year that they are running. So come hang out. It is the biggest paranormal event in North America. They have all the major paranormal cryptid celebrities there, 4 rooms of vendors, 3 days of presentations starting from 9 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And then it's at the casino right there. So you're literally mingling and hanging out with paranormal investigators and cryptozoologists. And if you have questions, that's the place to go, because you can talk to people and get answers and learn more about what you're dealing with. So that one's coming up. I have a ton of library presentations coming up from now until the end of October. Let's see, for major events, I have, I believe, Milwaukee Paracon coming up in October, and Mid-Michigan Paracon coming up like the week after that. So, or the weekend after that. So, yeah, I'll be sleeping in November.
You and me both. Actually, my November's pretty full, so I won't be sleeping in November. I think I have more in November than October right now. Jeez. Awesome. All right. And where you got all your events on your website or Facebook? Where can people find you?
I try to list everything on Facebook. I'm more active on Facebook than I am my website. I actually have to set aside time to do like update, do some maintenance on my website this weekend. But most of the stuff I post on Facebook, so you can keep up to date with stuff on there.
Very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, Shetan, I look forward to seeing you get in person at one of these events. I don't think I'm going to be at MI Paracon this year.
Oh,
but
darn.
You never know. Like I said, Stephanie and Ellie have a booth there, and they will be there for my team. So if you're looking for your caps, your hit of caps, I don't know what I was going for there, but your dose of caps, team members will be there, but I don't know if I will be. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I will see you on the road again, and
Okay.
we will cross paths. And now we have to come back and talk about cannibals. So
Yeah.
we'll be back. So all right, Shetan, you have a great day. Thanks for coming on.
You too. Bye.
We'll talk to you later. All right, guys, that is our show for this week. Shetan Noir is there, and all of her links and everything are in the show notes. You can go check that out for her website, her books, and all of that is in the show notes, and so much more. You can check out her full biography there as well. And coming up, guys, next week on the Paranormal Spectrum. Both of my shows next week are pre-recorded, so I know exactly what you're going to get. And next week here on the Paranormal Spectrum, Mark Bands joins the show. He is an author and a demonologist, and he joins the show to talk about demonology and protecting yourself and all things demonic related. So it is a great show. You don't want to miss that. And coming up next week, Monday, on Monsters on the Edge, we have David Webster joins the show along with past guest Rich Daniels. David Webster has a very life-changing encounter with a Sasquatch, and it was kind of traumatic for him and really changed his life. And Rich Daniels, who has done a lot of research and work with traumatic encounters and dealing with that, joins the show as well to kind of help David through this. So if you guys are interested in that, that is going to be Monday on Monsters on the Edge, Monday at noon. And then Mark Band's demonology and demonic stuff is next Thursday. Both shows are pre-recorded, but they will air here live. You can check them out noon on Monday and 10 a.m. on Thursday. It's going to be a great week for you guys. I'm going to be taking some rest because that just because. So, but enjoy the shows, and hopefully you enjoy them as much as I think you will. They were great, and both of them were really good guests. So good stuff coming up next week. Until next time, guys, remember we are all part of the paranormal spectrum. We're all in this together. So stay well, be healthy, and I'll see you later, guys. Take care.
You seem to